It is time for another edition of Let's Talk Tobago. Welcome, I'm your host, Davia Chambers. Can you guess where we're coming to you from this week? If you said Shaw Park Complex, then you're right. It is our location for today's episode. Now we're going to highlight all the major stories and events taking place across Tobago in this episode. Stay with us as we begin with this week's headlines. Let's go. In our headlines, My Independence Story. Our young people got a chance to share their creativity and thoughts on the nation's 60 years of independence. The cruise season is officially open. We'll tell you how many visitors the island is targeting over the next 6 months. A new initiative is now up and running in Roxborough to inspire young men to reach for excellence. And later, we give you the inside scoop on the project that's about to make a big difference for residents of Mariah's King Peter's Bay Road. We have all these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us. Young participants of this year's My Independence Story showcased their creativity via video presentation. The participants were recently honored at a short prize-giving ceremony at our Smithfield office. Here's more.
The competition targeted youth ages 12 to 18 years. They were asked to creatively express their understanding of Trinidad and Tobago's independence via a short video presentation. Speaking to the recipients, Chief Secretary the Honorable Farley Augustine says focusing on national values dissuades youth from deviant behavior.
It's so important that we get people, young people especially, feeling a sense of pride, pride in self, pride in community, and pride for your country.
Placing third with an inspirational group submission inspired by the Mighty Sparrow, Calypso Classic, The Slave, was the Mason Hall Police Youth Club, represented by 17-year-old Kyra Manswell.
It kind of displayed everything that he was looking at. So while he sang, we also sang for ourselves, and we looked for backgrounds to display what he was saying. And we went to the fort, and we went and we had a lot of fun actually.
The runner-up was St. Joseph Convent San Fernando student Renata Ramlogan, age 17. Accompanied by her mother, Nalani Harry Ramlogan, Renata says she entered the competition after seeing the flyer posted on Facebook.
Trinidad and Tobago is my home, and that's where my heart is, I can go anywhere in the world. But that drove the passion that I put into the video, and I hoped that those that watched the video would be able to get that passion, because though Trinidad has other issues like crime and poverty in some areas and all of that, Trinidad is a beautiful place, Tobago is wonderful, and that is home, and that is heart.
The winner was another 17-year-old Signal Hill Secondary School student, Joselle Dan. She delivered a powerful presentation that she hoped would inspire greater patriotism in the youth of her generation.
I actually spoke to some of my friends and I asked them, what is independence about? And they say, oh, that is the thing, is just go and watch fireworks about. They don't know the backstory about it. And I took this as an opportunity for me to allow other individuals to learn about the history of independence, not just about, it being about fireworks and marching bands and you get to eat snow cone and all of that, So it was basically me wanting to educate young persons within my age group about their history.
Accompanied by her father, Joel Dan, Joshelle was elated to take the top prize. She's urging Tobago's youth to make the best in every effort to support nation building.
Take all your education seriously. A lot of people put a lot of effort into making sure that you are here. you have the opportunity to learn. I have friends in other Caribbean territories that don't get to go to school for free, and we have it here, so we should use that opportunity wisely. You see, we have a lot of initiatives here in Tobago, and I'm also encouraging them to take part in it. It will make a positive change in their life, and therefore it will help to better our island as well.
The My Independence Story video presentation competition was held in commemoration of the Trinidad and Tobago's 60th anniversary of independence. First prize was $3,000, while second and third finishers earned $2,000 and $1,000 respectively. I'm Marlon Gottslieben for Let's Talk Tobago.
It really takes grit, determination, and innovation to be a successful entrepreneur. You also need to have a strong understanding of business. That's why 86 participants are getting support, courtesy a startup program from the Financial Literacy Secretariat of the Division of Finance, Trade, and the Economy. We tell you more in this next story. Have a look. Small and micro enterprises in Tobago got a skills training boost through the recent Startup Program 2022. 86 people participated in the program hosted by the Financial Literacy Secretariat of the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy. They benefited from developmental workshops and mentorship sessions intended to enhance their business skills.
SMEs play a critical role in the economic growth and development of any society. In fact, they can provide households with an additional or main source of income. They can help create more job opportunities in the labor market. They can stimulate greater social and economic activity in our communities, and they can reduce poverty rates among some of our most vulnerable. However, several studies have found that many SMEs fail to stand the test of time.
Ms. McCain says for 3 months, participants were exposed to a series of training workshops. They focused on areas like strategic business planning, cash flow management, and record keeping.
Each participant was also given the opportunity to gain one-on-one coaching and mentorship from a team of financial and business experts. And after careful review and assessment, we are excited to announce that 86 entrepreneurs have successfully completed this first cohort of the startup program.
Participants have all started businesses across 5 sectors: service, retail and manufacturing, food and beverage, creative arts, and agriculture and agro-processing.
And so when BAT was approached to partner with the TAJ on this initiative, I held no reservation in committing our time, talent, and treasure. As a bonus, this initiative, which fuels entrepreneurship and empowers entrepreneurs, complements several other activities of the last 3 years that BAT has co-hosted with the Financial Literacy Secretariat.
Chief Secretary Honorable Fali Augustine says small and medium enterprises impact communities in a much more meaningful way than larger establishments. He's got this bit of advice for the budding entrepreneurs.
It requires perhaps that you underpay yourself at the start while reinvesting in your business and your craft. It requires that you spend some very long hours, some late nights behind your business, because you can't get anything new and have it as a success story without you putting the effort behind it. But I want to assure you that the THA is behind you and is supporting you.
The closing ceremony of the Startup Program 2022 was hosted at Shaw Park Complex. The port of Scarborough was transformed into a sea of culture and color to greet disembarking passengers from the cruise ship Silver Moon. In this way, the local entertainers, various cultural performers, artisans, and other tourist industry stakeholders really helped to kick off the cruise season 2022 to 2023. Juliet James tells us more.
The arrival of Silver Moon cruise vessel at the port of Scarborough signaled the official start of cruise season in Tobago. It's the first time this ship from Silver Sea Cruises has visited the island.
We're happy that Silver Moon had confidence in Tobago as a destination. Tobago is a special place in the heart of travelers, I think. And that is the thing that we have to grow and build on. The reality is that I think we offer something that no other destination offers. We offer a mix of activities, culture, experiences that are second to none.
As part of the island's tourism initiative, Passengers from the vessel's maiden voyage were greeted with a lively cultural showcase. Also on display was an array of local handicraft.
So during the cruise season, we will have a lot of our traditional heritage characters, mukojambis, more drum, more pan or national instruments, and just a plethora of cultural items. And when they see our characters, they get to get a taste of who we are here in Tobago.
So while we were having our breakfast, we were able to listen to, and I did go back to the cabin and get my camera so that I could actually zoom in on the performance. It was great. So thank you for the warm welcome.
Along with Silver Moon, cruise vessel Rhapsody of the Seas also made its first visit to Tobago. It brought just over 2,000 passengers, many of them from neighboring Caribbean islands.
The experience of Tobago as opposed to mainland Trinidad is what we are actually trying to experience.
So I just saw the neighboring country of Tobago when I was younger, but I never get to come to Tobago. So I chose the experience because I love Trinidad as well. So I just want to get a flavor of Tobago. So I really appreciate it so far. So just going into the country now and see what's going on.
Rhapsody of the Seas is on a South Caribbean cruise leaving Barbados. The vessel is expected to make approximately 10 calls to destination Tobago, creating an opportunity for intra-regional travel.
And if you go to cruise, you always have to go to Miami to go to cruise. So I think having it start in a Caribbean country and in a Caribbean country is an excellent initiative.
It shares amongst us, the West Indies. We're spending money in each other's islands. And we also get a chance to see the similarities and the differences.
The efforts to restart Tobago's cruise industry is a collaboration among the Division of Tourism, TITAL, the Port Authority, Tobago Division of the TTPS, the Transport Associations, tour operators, Intercontinental Shipping Limited, and Cavallo Cruise Services. From the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
The Roxborough Police Youth Club continues to be proactive in youth development. Hear more about this story right after this break. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Along with us now as we head to Roxborough. The Roxborough Police Youth Club continues its mission of nurturing young citizens so they can make meaningful contributions to society. This time, the focus is on young men and boys of the East. Here's more about the club's latest project in this story from Amadara Mills.
Chief Secretary Honorable Fally Augustine, Administrator Erlan Kent, Principal Patterson Brooks. These are just a few of the male icons on the Roxborough Police Youth Club's list of successful men from the East. The club has highlighted high achievers in culture, business, academics, and agriculture. It's an effective means of encouraging young men and boys to achieve their highest potential. That's one of the objectives of Training Men for Tomorrow, Roxborough Police Youth Club's latest social project. The mentorship program provides young men and boys with a safe space to share their views. They are also encouraged to adopt a positive mindset so that they can become productive and respectable citizens. Founder and leader of the club, Collis Hazel, gives some insight into the program.
As we grow, we allow them to grow with us. So it is about Project Tomorrow is not only about dealing about domestic violence and about treating our women. It is about treating our young men to become equipped with the skills and knowledge and values that we can shape a better tomorrow in this beautiful land space called Tobago East.
Chief Secretary Fally Augustine is an advocate of the club's mentorship program. He hopes it will redefine the meaning of manhood. Mr. Augustine has some words of inspiration for the youth.
Countrymen can take care of themselves. Countrymen can take care of their women. Countrymen can take care of their children. Countrymen can be intelligent. Countrymen can make intelligent life choices. Countrymen can be spiritually superior. Countrymen can be law-abiding. Countrymen can be disciplined. And of course, countrymen can run tongue too.
Scholar and author Dr. David Mohammed was featured speaker at the event. He's reminding the young men of their worth.
You are so great. You have so much magnificent potential. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Absolutely anything. Never doubt yourself. Never second guess on your ability. Know your heritage and your history.
The launch of Training Men for Tomorrow also took place in celebration of International Men's Day. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
The tourism industry customer service training is a 3-year program being hosted in collaboration with the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, or THTI, an international award-winning customer service leader uplifting service. Now, the aim is to enhance the quality of customer service at all key contact points in Tobago. The Service Leaders Forum was officially opened recently. Listen up. Service delivery is on the front burner of the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. The 3-year customer service training program is all about enhancing the visitor's experience, which is one of the keys to improving the lives of Tobagonians and adding value to the island's tourism product. According to Executive Chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, Alicia Edwards, the leaders of organizations and businesses are key to this effort.
Sometimes, in order to give an excellent experience, you have to do more than you are expected to do. You have to do more than you may be authorized to do. And is it that we punish initiative, or do we support it to ensure that there is an excellent experience for whoever the service consumer is?
The Service Leaders Forum focused on specific service situations, ensuring new ideas are generated, new actions are taken, and new value is created.
It's clear that we have a customer service issue to deal with. I can't tell you how many people, when we talk about what we're doing here, they kind of roll their eyes and say, yeah, well, you know, we really need that. And in some ways, it's clear that we do. But again, it's just right there in front of us, waiting to happen. And I know from my knowledge of our content that our model can be a perfect fit to help catapult that.
Further, for Tobago to compete, the island must strive for authenticity over perfection. Secretary of the Tourism Division, Councillor Tashia Burris, says the Service Leaders Forum is the coming together of strategic direction and implementation.
This Service Leaders Forum is representative of the fact that we are well aware of the need on our island to enhance capacity among our people. Further, it is testimony that we are committed to robust and continuous mechanisms that will positively transform our industry through our service providers, tourism workers, and all those who directly and indirectly impact our sector. Here in Tobago, we must adopt an approach that acknowledges that knowledge is insufficient, and it must be paired with tangible application.
But have you ever thought about the natural countenance of Tobagonians and how the average Tobagonian offers high-quality customer service on a normal day?
We have a thing called harvest. Where else in the world you could just walk into a random village, into a random stranger's house, and sit down and demand the largest plate of food, demand what you want to drink, and on top of that, when you finish, you say, I want something to walk with. I want to tote some food. That means that there exists in our natural way of living high quality customer service. But there is somewhere along the line a disconnect between that which we know and experience every day of our lives with that which we share with the visitor. And for some strange reason, there is a switch that we turn on and off, and we somehow tend to turn it off at the wrong time. And so for me, this training exercise that is a continuation is about how to keep that switch on.
The Tourism Industry Customer Service Training Program was hosted in partnership with the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. In this next story, we are featuring a young Tobago artist by the name of Renice Benjamin. She wears many hats in the world of art. You'll get to learn about her pursuits, including the business she started with just $10. Here's more.
I got started because of my mom. From a very tender age, she noticed my talent and she decided to allow me to join a class. She even came home a day and gifted me with this cute little art set where it had crayons, it had paint. I remember that was one of my most exciting days. So much I still have some of the pieces, I don't use them, but just as in for the memory's sake. My passion for art started based on the fact that we are surrounded by art. The clothes we wear, the shoes, your glasses, art is all around us. So that's basically where my talent started from.
Renice Benjamin is a 28-year-old Tobago-born artist. She started her business, Serene Memories, in October 2020 with just $10. It's a postcard and gift box enterprise that grew out of her love for creating 2D art pieces. Renice makes cards for all occasions and works with clients to create personalized cards or specialty boxes. The responses to her creations have been motivating.
Using from the $10, I sold it for a certain amount, used some of that money to buy more material, and the business just grew. And after that, I realized okay, I have to take this business outside of WhatsApp. So I created a Facebook page and also an Instagram page. And the response I've gotten has been really wonderful.
Miss Benjamin is also assistant curator at the Art Gallery, an art space located in Lowlands and owned by veteran painter Martin Superville. She took up that position after completing her bachelor's degree in art from UWI St. Augustine. Renice says it's a great experience. She's learning the management side of art and even puts together exhibitions like Osmosis, the one held by the Art Gallery for Tobago's Carnival season.
What I love about the Art Gallery is the environment. That's the first thing I love. Imagine going to work and you could sit down on a bench with your laptop and just do what you love. Or even at times I work along with him where I do underpaintings for him as well, which is currently what I love. I paint, I love the business side of art, and I'm currently in a situation where I can explore all.
Renice plans to continue developing her art career by specializing in curating and art dealership. She also hopes to run her own gallery in the future. To access any of Renice's creative services, visit the Facebook page Serene Memories, email serenecards@gmail.com or call 470-2894. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We've got to take another break, but do not go away. Let's Talk Tobago. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Now, residents of King Peter's Bay Road in Moriah are getting an early Christmas gift, proper road access to their community. They're thrilled that the project is finally coming to fruition, and so far feel that the process has been a really smooth one, as we hear from the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment. Have a look.
We are doing a project here at King Peter Bay Road, which consists of a road at 400 meters long. We had a geotechnical team come do their soil tests to determine the stability of the slope. And once we got the depth from them, that which we could excavate at to reach solid bedrock, and then we were able to build back up from there. We have a design where, a cantilever design, where we have weight on one side. Yeah, so we'll be backfilling on one side of the slopes, some aggregate, and that should give us the countermeasure to hold up the whole slip of the road. The residents, majority have been very positive with they seeing the viability of it.
The main guy, he interacted with everyone in a positive way. He tried to understand your plight if there were any challenges, and they tried to alleviate whatever problem we had.
I'm glad for it, and everybody up here glad for it. Everybody. I tell you, when I wake, I say yes. So I come from the town with a car now. I could pay a little extra, he dropped me right here.
We had some problems with the water because they had to take off the connection, and it was off for some time, and he himself did it. He came and he put the hose, climbed up on the tank tower and put the hose there so that we could get water. So it was really a good interaction with the workers, and especially the main guy.
If anybody said this road here do good for us, they tell I. If anybody had to say this road here, they tell real. I tell them, I say that. It's really been up here feeling the pain now. Only flat here feeling no pain is we.
There's one particular lady, when she comes with her grocery, she has to literally call her grandchildren from home to come down here to pick up when there is a vehicle in the yard. So it is welcoming that we have in the progress, we have the transformation.
It was very difficult. I would rate this in terms of difficulty like 7. The challenges we had were like the slope, the existing houses didn't allow for us to make much changes. Much cutting couldn't have been done, because of the existing terrain. Then also we had issues where some of the houses were too close to each other, so we could not get a proper width on the road. So we had to work with our 15-foot width. Once we finish this slip here, we should finish this slip within this bridge here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we are looking at our earlier 14th of December to hand over the road and the slip. What we should have outstanding might be 1 or 2 driveways by that date, but we're working on that to try and get everything done by the 14th of December.
So we have come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can email us with your comments or queries about the program. Be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and fantastic week.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. look out below, 'cause this is your show. More, live more.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is Friday morning, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show. It is 7 a.m. as we continue to give God thanks for life. I am Julian Skeet this morning, and this morning I'm doing things solo, and we want to wish Rhea all the best out there, and we look forward to her joining us once again on Monday. Yes, folks, it's Friday. We're at the end of the week. It's that kind of day where we say, and Rhea in particular, thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday indeed. Looking on, much has been happening. We were all on the edge of our seats yesterday as we anticipated. Oh my gosh, what is Prime Minister Keith Rowley going to announce in relation to the current circumstances and interesting prevailing worldwide with the variant and so on now coming forward once again, and therefore persons are somewhat relieved to know that the individual responsibility now becomes key. But let's hope that we can indeed maintain that individual responsibility so that there isn't the need once again for any kind of drastic rules and regulations to govern our operations. But at this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian. I am Candace Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 13 January 2023. Political analyst Dr. Bishu Raghunath does not believe Chief Secretary Farley Augustine will respond to Watson Duke's call to rejoin the PDP. Duke recently stated in a radio interview that the door is open for Augustine and others to return to the party. But Dr. Raghunath stated that even though Duke is the owner of the party, he is unable to control it, and therefore reconciliation may be difficult. Following their resignation from the PDP, Augustine and the Executive Council of the THA are functioning as independents with the possibility of forming a new political party in the near future. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley assured that no restrictions will be imposed on the population, even as COVID-19 cases increase. Addressing the nation yesterday, Dr. Rowley indicated that imposing restrictions at this stage will not work as variants of the virus are already among the population. However, he pleaded with citizens to act responsibly and follow the WHO-approved public health guidelines as much as possible. In the meantime, vaccinations remain available at health centers across the country. And in some other news, LMCS attorney Kamini Prasad Maharaj claimed that Paria Fuel Trading Company failed in its responsibility to rescue the divers trapped in a pipeline during her closing statements at the Commission of Inquiry yesterday. 4 divers perished after they were sucked into a pipeline in February 2022. Prasad Maharaj said Paria failed to take the proper action to rescue the divers and treat with their families when the incident occurred. Meanwhile, Paria's attorney Gilbert Peterson outlined that Paria did its best, but it was under no obligation to launch a rescue without the necessary safeguards in place. And that was the news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Julian.
Thank you there so much, Candice, for bringing us the news in 90 seconds. Continue to give us a very clear sense of the happenings here within our Tobago space and, in fact, nationally and beyond. Very interesting perspectives as we continue to hear by way of the inquiry, of the developments with regards to Paria. All we can really say is the family. When it comes to the families and the loss that they have experienced, I am quite certain going through these inquiries, only makes it a little more challenging, especially for them to be able to be relating some of the circumstances and even hearing some of the responses coming from the company. But we continue to hope for the very best and look forward to what would be the eventual outcome of this inquiry. I also want to take the opportunity, and we should have an image coming up on screen there regarding the Tobago Youth Awards, an image page coming up on screen as an indication to persons by way of information from the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport. The Tobago Youth Awards 2022 nomination period remains open. Nomination was due to close yesterday, and nominations have now been extended to Monday, the 16th of January 2022. So please be mindful, folks, just in case you were just on the brink and missed it. You only have until Monday, the 16th of January 2022 to submit your nominations. Feel free to go over to the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sports, a Facebook page, and you'll have the relevant links there for the individual and group categories. I also want to take the opportunity today to extend some commendations going out to the 7th Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit that got started yesterday here in Tobago, being hosted at the Shore Park Complex by the Caribbean Regional Youth Council. We've had a number of our young persons on. Really an opportunity to showcase the island with a number of visiting young persons from throughout the Caribbean region and our very own Tobago young persons and the Tobago students being able to benefit and to be able to participate in the initiatives. Just last evening, I was also able, along with a number of others, to be a part of the official welcome ceremony and reception, I should say, hosted by the Honorable Chief Secretary, Fali Chavez Agustin, hosting our young persons visiting from the Caribbean region in an effort, you know, to really kind of begin and to commence the activities that they would be expected to execute over the next few days here in Tobago. And this is the 7th Caribbean Summit, that Youth Leaders Summit that's taking place here in Tobago. So certainly, again, kudos and commendations to all our young persons out there continuing to make a difference and to really leave your mark. With the senior representatives through the youth councils, a number of persons, officials and support through the departments and the Division, Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, Division of Tourism, the Office of the Chief Secretary and the Tobago House of Assembly lending that full support. Because when we do well in Tobago, we got an opportunity to push and to market what we do even further in relation to our efforts here within Tobago. So once again, commendations going out to the team. And let me do a quick check this morning just to verify. All right, so we have no birthdays or anniversaries this morning, so we're heading straight on into our rundown for this morning. Today, we'll have the opportunity to have conversations with Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, and the Deputy Chief Secretary within the Tobago House of Assembly, as we speak to the Tobago COVID-19 update. Let's hear what's happening from the Tobago perspective as we anticipate any further challenges here within our Tobago space. We continue the discussions this morning as we speak to Tobago Antigua Marine Venture, and we will be chatting with Assemblyman Trevor James, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development this morning as we look at that initiative. And this morning we close the conversation talking about Tobago Junior Carnival 2023, a tribute to Gloria Stout. And we'll be chatting with Candice Chan, band leader of Stout Next Generation. So we look forward to those upcoming discussions this morning. And you know, I've always got to pause for a cause and pause for a moment. And you see we have on screen here coming up Dr. Faith B. Israel, Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary with responsibility for health. Yes, she's in the hot seat this morning. She's got to answer the tough questions. What's our preparation like? Can we anticipate? Should we be fearful? What's going to be coming? So we look forward to those discussions coming up next. And I just want to make sure to connect and to continue to highlight our sponsors on board in relation to Rio. We have the lineup of Hair Sanctuary, their House of Norma, as well as Sasha. So we continue to express our appreciation to all our sponsors. And this morning, I definitely want to take the opportunity to highlight the shirt this morning. Yes, let's pause for a cause as we continue to recognize our sponsors. It's courtesy Rashad's Men's Store, located down there in Mount Pleasant. You can connect with them on social media. So remember, it's Rashad's Men's men's store, continuing to support here, and one of our sponsors here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And yes, Barber Classic Cuts by Aquilon. All right, we want to thank each and every one of you for the continued love and support. And yes, to you, our viewers, our listeners, I know you're just about having that cup of coffee. For those who are enjoying life at a different stage now, having worked hard over the years, Mrs. Karoma, shout outs to you this morning. All right, I know you're probably having that cup of coffee and relaxing just as you take in the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We want to say morning shout outs to each and every one of you, those tuned in via Gael and M&E TV, those of you listening in as well on the radio, and those of you also connecting with us online. We wish to remind you that this is your opportunity, folks, to share the live, share the live, share the live.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is yeah. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much man, good day. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last, raise a glass.
Socialize!
27th of January, look for where.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7:13 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And here we're seeing a live view. Don't go so quickly. We're seeing a live view there from the main ridge out there. You know, the lookout at the main ridge, and we continue to really be able to embrace our our greenery, our sites, and so here within Tobago, certainly an opportunity to enjoy that space. It's the kind of space where you see and you pause pause and you take a deep breath and just take in indeed nature, the very beauty itself, and to be re-energized in that kind of space. And yes, Julian, remember that you're on air, so don't go off there too far. All right. So viewers, yes, we just want you to enjoy that space, certainly making it possible here as we continue to bring you, the spaces and sites here within Tobago. Let me give a quick shout out to some persons joining us on the live. I see Rhea Richardson George, wherever you are out there. Morning to you, Rhea. Giselle Donaldson Yates, Shaquille Jones, Denise Phillips, my cousin out there, QQ Melville, Marilyn Spence, Janelle, Keeve, Brenda. We want to say morning to each and every one of you, and thank you so much for continuing to tune in and for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, at this point, we head on into our interview with Dr. Faith B. Israel, Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. This morning as we speak, the Tobago COVID-19 update. Morning to you, Dr. Faith.
Good morning, Julian. It's wonderful being here, and that is a really nice shot to start the morning, that shot at the main ridge.
And let me delve off a little bit before we get in. Folks, I had the benefit of being at a session yesterday with Dr. Faith, the Caribbean Youth Leaders Summit, health and wellness. Let's start from that point. How critical and important is that in the broader sense of things? And I'm not speaking here THA, government responsibility, private doctors, etc., but one's personal health and wellness and basic things that people can do, to just maintain that sanity. I really enjoyed that session.
Thank you so much. And I actually really enjoyed being there with the young folks, having a discussion about us really collectively, holistically thinking about wellness, and not just thinking about us not having a disease, but thinking about all the facets of life that can cause you to be well. That includes financial wellness. It includes occupational wellness, actually loving your job. It includes emotional wellness. Yes, it also includes physical wellness, but it includes all of these other things. And it was really nice having that conversation with the young people. I'm so proud of them. I am so proud of all of them. You looked at all of them there yesterday, the names that we see growing up in front of our eyes. And, I coming out of that, I thought, Tobago in a good place, We have some young people that coming up that I think would do a really, really good job, and they showed out, and it's going to be a continued wonderful session.
Excellent. And, Dr. Faith, today we're talking about the Tobago COVID-19 update. And, just as you made the point, looking at the comparison, is this now a reality that we're going to have to continue living with the understanding, that life goes on? Things have got to happen, and we can't just be focused on the disease itself. We heard the Prime Minister, make the pronouncements yesterday, reminding us more so about personal responsibility. Tell us about your thoughts.
Certainly. Well, the Prime Minister echoed what my colleagues and I have been discussing. We've actually been having COVID-19 meetings and ensuring that, given what was happening, because, you look at the news, you saw things happening in China last week, and people started getting a little iffy, and people started talking about there's this new thing that might be coming around, and whether it's going to be bad, and what is the Prime Minister going to say, what shirt is he going to wear. We had that thing last time, whether it was going to be at midnight tonight kind of situation. But I was not surprised by what he indicated, because it really follows the science, meaning that, yes, we are at a point where we now have an endemic, meaning it's not even, I would actually move a little beyond endemic, because it's not even really high, but constant. But it is now something that we have to live with, which is one of the reasons we made a decision at the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection to actually stop releasing the weekly reports, because I am sure most people weren't looking at them anyway. We still look at them. For example, I still see every morning when I wake up the information for the night before, so that is still sent and that is still analyzed, and we are still critically looking at it. But it's because we've been critically looking at that we made the decision to not continue publishing it, because people are not paying attention. So, and that allows us to do something else. If there is something that needs to be highlighted, you know that if you see a report coming out of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, it's something that you need to pay very close attention to. So if you see us bring that back, you know that we've been looking at the trends and we're saying, A, look at this, people, pay attention to this because we are going in a particular direction. The other thing that the Prime Minister indicated was where we've also been in terms of going back towards a hybrid system within the healthcare setting. What we've been pushing for the last 2 or 3 years was really a parallel system where we were totally separating our COVID-19 patients. We were sending them up to the fort and taking them away completely from our regular hospital, so to speak. But what we are moving towards is really ensuring that we have our infection and control protocols within the hospitals, so we do not necessarily have to send COVID patients to the fort. We can have them incorporated in our regular healthcare system, but ensuring that we follow all of the protocols so that COVID doesn't spread and that kind of thing. So that is where the nation is. That is where Tobago is as well. We are moving in that direction.
We heard yesterday the UWI professor Christine Carrington identify 4 cases of the Omicron variant having been detected in this country. Have any been in Tobago?
So the way it's done, so I think we need to be very clear. I heard someone say recently that we have a new strain and so forth. That is not the case. What we have is a sub-variant of Omicron. What does that mean? We've had Omicron since last year. The one just before Omicron was the Delta, which is where in 2021, December, we came to the end of that just as I came in as Secretary for Health. That's where we had the really high deaths and really high hospitalization. That was in December 2021. But since 2022, we've really transitioned over to the Omicron, variant, and this is just a sub-variant of Omicron. What they do is actually just pull samples of it. The fact that we've had some means we have it. So we don't really need to think about whether we've had 1 in Tobago or 2 in Tobago. We have it circulating. And Omicron is still the predominant strain, in essence, that is circulating in Trinidad and Tobago. What's critical to note, though, is that this particular subvariant, and I don't want to use the wrong term, this particular subvariant, the XBB.1.5, that particular subvariant has 2 important criteria that we need to be conscious of. One is that it is actually more infectious, meaning you can get it, but don't worry. You can get it, but what we are also seeing is that even if you get it, you are not feeling sick. Which means our bodies have evolved, the virus itself has evolved a little bit, and we are getting to the point where, yes, you can get it, but for the vast majority of people, you're not even feeling sick, which means you're not being hospitalized, which is where the problem comes in. You're not filling our ICU, which is again where the problem comes in, and you're not really dying from it. So it's, even though it is more infectious, meaning you can get it, we are not too worried, because even if you get it, it is not making you sick. And as a matter of fact, what we've recognized is that a lot of the people who we've identified as having COVID, it's because they came into the hospital for something else, and because we're doing routine COVID, so they're not coming with flu symptoms, nothing, they're not feeling sick in that regard. They're coming because their hand is broken, and because we are doing routine COVID testing anyway, we find out, oh, you have COVID. But that is not why you were there. You are not sick with COVID.
So in those cases where you're not sick, and I want to, and you can clarify, you may still be able, in terms of others contracting, what's the process still being utilized, or the protocol, so long as you are identified on those routine checks at the hospital?
So yes, it means you can still transmit it, but what happens after you transmit it is not as concerning, which is the point. And that is why we are moving towards the regular system, going back to the hybrid system. So even if you are found in the hospital, then we just make sure that we are using our mask, which you should be using anyway if you are working in the hospital. Probably put you in a separate space, but so we are not necessarily taking you from Scarborough General and sending you up the fort, waiting for you to get better up the fort before treating the broken hand that you come in with. We are ensuring that we are actually still treating the broken hand, because that is why you came, and you ensuring that our infection prevention protocols are in place to prevent you from getting sick, to prevent you from infecting others or having any of the doctors or nurses get sick. So it's really moving towards that direction. Remember before, once you got COVID, we would kind of stop everything.
Correct.
Put you aside, yes, make sure that you're okay, but kind of stop everything, and then when you got over the COVID, start back your other treatment. Because we recognize again, what is happening now is not that severe, we're not getting very sick, and we are now having to learn to live with COVID. We're moving towards not stopping everything, but continuing treatment, because that is what is necessary. That's where we are in the situation.
Bearing in mind, once again, our frontline workers, healthcare workers continue to be top priority. Have those bonuses been paid to all our healthcare workers that would have been promised and sent to the Tobago House of Assembly? We want to be sure.
You know what is funny?
What's the update on that?
You know what is funny? We were getting cussed left, right, and center about the money not being paid. Everybody messaging me, Faith, when we get our money, when we get our money. A couple people messaged after they got it and said thank you. I can't remember seeing many of them post on Facebook, yes, we get our money. The way they was cussing me.
That's the reality of the circumstance.
That is human nature. The staff at the TRHA, all of them, as long as they were eligible, got their monies. Of course, I think there were a couple hiccups with a couple who maybe not working there anymore, changed bank accounts, so it bounced back from, you know, sending it to the wrong bank account and that kind of stuff. But the folks at the TRHA, they got all of their, they got that.
As we prepare to close this morning's interview, your words, your admonition, your encouragement to the people of Tobago and all those viewing.
Certainly. Well, you know, the thing is, we've been saying the same thing for the last 3 years. COVID is still with us, yes, and we are really telling you to do the same things we've been asking you to do over the last couple of years, which is wash your hands. I've seen places where we're not washing and sanitizing your hands as much. You all go back to that. Let me tell you why you need to go back to that, because we are having situations where people are getting gastrointestinal issues, and it's because they're not washing their hands. So all you wash all your hands for me, please. If you are in one of the categories where you probably are have comorbidities, meaning you have a whole lot of other illnesses and so forth, and you know you're going into a space that has other people, plenty people, you keep wearing your mask. The COVID-19 vaccines are still available for individuals who want to get vaccinated. They are still there. So you keep doing the things we've been asking you to do. If you know that you are one of those people who are, you know, you're sickly and that kind of thing, then you don't necessarily need to go to the mass gathering places, because even though everyone else may be fine, if they get COVID, because of the situation with you, you may not necessarily be fine. Now, we do have a few. For example, right now, the CEO just sent to me that we have actually 2 people in the hospital who have COVID still. Of course, that is compared to the 10s and 20s and 30s that we used to have before. We have very limited numbers now, and they are pretty close to being sent home and that kind of thing. So continue washing your hands, continue wearing your mask, particularly if you know you're going into this Carnival season we're going into, and we are going to have more gatherings. You keep wearing your mask. The COVID-19 vaccines are still there for you to take. So you take your personal precaution. It's just not being mandated by the state.
All right. Thank you very much, Diana. Quick question coming in. Dr. Faith, we know the last time you were on, and recently we had Senator Lawrence as well, asking about the follow-up in relation to the ministry based on the submissions for the appointment of the TRHA board. Where are we at very quickly?
So the last I got from the office of the president last week is that they had done their due diligence and they had sent it back to the cabinet secretariat. So we are still waiting.
All right, so we're still waiting, and that is a call once again for the cabinet. You know, please ensure, because obviously persons are asking the relevant questions with regards. So thank you very much again, Dr. Faith B. Israel, Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary with Responsibility for Health, Wellness and Social Protection, for joining us here on set this morning at the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And once again, she's giving those gentle reminders, and I've said it for a very long time. Let's maintain the hand washing, folks. I don't think it has to to be a law and instruction for you to recognize how important soap and water is. Wow, I feel like my grandmother is talking to me. You know, in those days when you really don't want to, and you say, hey, soap and water, it's important. And, you know, the reality didn't just hit me. I kept saying even up to recently, over the last 2 years of this pandemic, but the reality is, wow, we're in 2023. It's over the last 3 years of treating with this pandemic. So just a little reminder to us, and certainly, again, advice given by the Prime Minister, and now we're also hearing it from our Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health. Let's ensure that we continue to take on that personal responsibility with some of the very basics while we learn to continue living with COVID-19. So there's no need to panic, folks. No need to panic. All right. Thank you very much again, Dr. Faith B. Israel. And coming up next, we will be having, and he's there waiting in the lineup, Assemblyman Trevor James, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, as we speak the Tobago Antigua Marine Venture. All right, so we look forward to those upcoming discussions. And at this point, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support and for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates Morning Show, and to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
welcome back. Welcome back, viewers and listeners. It's 7:33 a.m. this morning here on the Tobago Updates morning show. As we are seeing on screen, there are shots of the main ridge by the lookout area. And today there's expected to be a UNDP formal handover of the main ridge visitor center solar installation to the Tobago House of Assembly. Today, Friday, the 13th of January, 2023, and expected to be present is that the Minister of Planning and Development, the Honorable Penelope Beckles Robinson, and the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, the Honorable Farley Chavez Augustine. Today, the Main Ridge Visitor Center solar installation being hosted by the United Nations Development Program. So we look forward to those updates and the information coming here to you via the Tobago Updates in relation to this initiative that will be taking place here in Tobago. All right, and we will be carrying it live on the Tobago Updates, so we invite you to ensure that you tune in and to connect so that you can have a first-hand view of what's happening up there at the main ridge. You know, we started with the sites this morning, and then we're going to proceed straight in for that additional opportunity for the handover that's guarded to take place. All right, viewers, at this point we are heading into our interview with Assemblyman Trevor James, a Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. And this morning we're talking about the Tobago Antigua Marine Venture. Morning to you, Secretary.
Pleasant good morning, Julian, and morning Tobago Update listeners and viewers around the world. It's good to be here, always.
Excellent. And you know, when you are in the hot seat, I feel like there's never enough time. All right. But this morning, we want to start the conversation in relation to this initiative that we would have heard about recently, put out into the public space. Tell us a little bit, what exactly does this entail, the Tobago Antigua Marine Venture?
But Julian, before I get into that, let me just say, first of all, to the people of Scarborough Mount Grace, thank you for voting me to allow me to represent you in the House and for giving me the opportunity today as well. Julian, let me just read two quotes, especially for the young people in Tobago, these Form 5 and Form 4 students. And I want to read the first quote from the Territorial Sea and Contiguous Zone as put out and defined by the UN Laws of the Sea Convention. It's Article 2, General Provisions, Section 1. The sovereignty of a coastal state extends beyond its land territory and internal waters, and in the case of archipelagic states, its archipelagic waters to the adjacent seabed described as the territorial sea. This sovereignty extends to the airspace over the territorial sea as well as the bed and subsoil. The sovereignty over territorial sea is exercised subject to this convention and other rules of international law. This provision defines the authority of a coastal state and what benefits a coastal state can derive from just being a coastal state, of which Tobago and Trinidad are. The Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago says in the preliminaries that the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago shall be a sovereign democratic state. It does not say a unitary state. That Trinidad and Tobago, and I will quote this and paraphrase it as I quote, Trinidad and Tobago shall comprise of the island of Trinidad and the island of Tobago and the territories that immediately before the 31st day of August 1962 were dependencies of Trinidad and dependencies of Tobago, including the seabed, the subsoil situated beneath the territorial sea, and the continental shelf of Trinidad and Tobago. What this says is that Tobago is defined in the Constitution and Trinidad is defined in the Constitution, and according to the laws of the sea, Tobago's definition gives it territorial sea that extends beyond the land. And what has been happening in this country is that we in Tobago have, in fact, subsumed our space, our sea space, to this thing called Trinidad and Tobago, where there is an attempt to define Tobago differently from this by limiting the amount of sea we have responsibility for. And supposedly Trinidad and Tobago takes all of that, but there is no definition of Trinidad. And we went through a campaign that we sold to the public that there is a need for Tobago to begin to benefit from its marine space, and critical to that was the use of Tobago as an international port of entry, for which was the genesis of the trip.
So I want you to tell us a little bit about this trip in itself. We knew it would have been the commissioning of the Antigua and Barbuda redevelopment Deepwater Harbor port facility that you would have been invited to. Tell us particularly about the experience there, and then we begin to connect it in relation to that relationship that is due to have Tobago derive benefits.
Again, because of how things work in the world, people across the region would have observed our campaign. People in Antigua, where I have some connections, observed our campaign and felt that it would be a good thing for me to witness what they have done with their space and what their plans are for Antigua as they attempt to use as what their phrase was building Antigua from the coastline. And so they've been blessed, of course, with a lot of keys and a lot of bays, and they continue to use their coast to their benefit. The project itself is similar to what we proposed during the campaign. Their project, again, also reclaimed 34 acres. They are able to build out a new container terminal and to build a new pier, cruise ship pier that can now host the biggest ships in the world. And they are building a plan around increasing their transient population significantly. I think they are targeting 2 million every year. So Antigua's population is 120,000, and they're estimating by the kinds of actions they are taking, their transient population will rise by 2 million people. Out of that, if they are successful, they are now able to build out a whole infrastructure, a whole service sector to feed, to provide services for that transient population, which will take into account, of course, those coming by sea and those coming by air. They have also built a new airport as well. So we went there on the invitation to observe, to meet some of the players, the contractors, the consultants, the people from the government, and to have a better understanding of how they achieve this type of financial structure they use, and to generally it was a learning and a very exciting visit.
So I want you to tell us a little bit, particularly I know you would have had the opportunity to tour, as you just mentioned, in terms of some of these species. Any standouts that definitely you'd see making that connection here in relation to the Focus project, which is in terms of that revitalization, in terms of redevelopment of Scarborough?
Absolutely. For me, this is about building out an economy in Tobago that can stand up on its own. Now, in the late 90s, the transient population in Tobago was close to 100,000 per year. By the end of 2018, it was down to 19,000. That doesn't do well for tourism sector. It doesn't do well for hotels, for taxis or restaurants, for our cultural sector. Nothing like that would work. And we need to kickstart, to jump ahead significantly in the shortest possible time. And so how do we as Tobagonians build out a new economy in Tobago that's based on increasing our population? And the way to do that is to bring people into Tobago by cruise, to bring people by air, and to bring goods and services through a port of entry into Tobago. Today, we are importing, if my estimates are correct, over $300 million of agricultural goods from Trinidad. Now, if ever there is a benefit for building out your own infrastructure, there it is. We are in the region, we are import countries. You know, we have been told for years that what is Tobago going to produce to export? But I can tell you that Antigua is bringing in per week 450 containers, 25-ton containers, and they're exporting 10.
Very interesting.
We have been sold that to prevent us, and I don't have the exact figures in Trinidad, but I believe the ratio is similar. And so we have to buy into this thing in Tobago. We have to find a way to understand that the nexus, the linkages with Trinidad are not benefiting us in the way that will allow us to develop ourselves, would allow us to provide opportunities for labor and for employment, opportunities for people that went to university, opportunities for the services sector. That linkage is something we have to edit, if that's the correct word. We have to find a way to have that nexus with Trinidad work for us, because if we don't, Tobago as an entity will be subsumed completely as part of Trinidad.
Very, very interesting connection there in terms of that broader perspective. Now, when we had a conversation earlier, we spoke about, and I think it was just around that time, the team in relation to the Scarborough Development Project would have been venturing off. I think it might have been feasibility studies. Yes. And so where we at now in terms of the status regarding the progress of this project, because we're now in 2023.
We have received the interim report for the Scarborough feasibility study from the Scarborough feasibility study team. I was told in coming here that the full report will be had middle February, and we look forward to that. We are now reviewing the report, the initial report. I've shared it with the Executive Council, and we're going to review it, look at it maybe next Wednesday, to get a sense of where we are and where the project can go. There are exciting issues identified and possibilities identified already in that report, and we will share it to the public once we have the full report. You know, we are forced to go through a process, and therefore we must slow down a bit and allow the planning to take place, allow the consultation. There will be more consultations, that I promised, to take place, if not in this quarter, certainly in the next quarter. And so we can get the buy-in from the majority of Tobagonians who love Tobago and want to see Tobago progress.
All right, so that we can look forward to the follow-up, as you said, coming out from the report that would have been received as you're waiting the final, and the further consultations as we progress with the initiative. At which stage, similar to the efforts now, of course, with connecting with these entities, Antigua and others, to see and to get that kind of perspective in relation to these, fact-finding opportunities. At which point, similarly, because we know that you said very early, we're not going to get that kind of money to make this thing happen from the perspective of central government, in terms of beginning to look at prospects with regards to financing the initiative.
I must say that I'm a project person, and we do things in parallel as much as we can. So we have actually prepared a summary business plan already, and we've sent it to a few people, and we have interest from at least 2 financiers who seem willing to finance the project, and we'll concretize those arrangements within this quarter. I think we are in a good place for the financing, and we would do what we can within this constraint that is Trinidad and Tobago to ensure that we have the right arrangements in place to bring the financing into Tobago.
All right. We know that the division would have also been probably sometimes dashed into additional works by virtue of nature and the natural circumstances. We wanted to get from you a quick update in relation to some of those main areas that we know by way of natural circumstances, and what appears to be facing the country as a whole becomes an issue. What's the update on areas, like in the going up to the north side? That road would have been in progress, as well as heading to the east, that Bad Rock area and so on.
Well, Tobago knows that
projects that you have been forced to make a priority.
Yeah. Tobago knows that the division has done a mighty job in keeping the roads clear throughout this incessant rain of October, November, and partly December. I want to thank the staff for going above and beyond the call of duty, working through the night in some cases to deal with all these slides and road failures and so on. And in those months, that's all we could have done, really. Ensure that traffic can flow, that people have access through the main roads. We still have a lot of work through minor roads to be done, and we are looking for the resources to do that. In terms of Bad Rock and Castara, I think the design for Castara is now mostly complete, certainly for the road area, and the guys should start there, if not this month, certainly by the month of February. They should start the toe walls and drains and so on along Castara. I think we are awaiting a design for the slope protection above that road. That is in train. In Bell Garden, Bad Rock, we now brought on board a consultant, surveyor, and engineer to do the design for us, and they have done their surveys, linking it with the LiDAR information that they have, so we can see the terrain. There is, of course, a analysis of whether we would widen inland or whether we would cantilever outland, and that's a big discussion that we've had, and they are assessing the relative risk and sustainability of both options, whether we blast away, go up on top, bench 2 benches, do a slope protection, blast a foot, widen it, or whether we just cantilever out, oversee. It will be an interesting project because I've promised that we'll be doing it in-house.
I know this one may be a long shot, but we have seen in Trinidad where, of course, because of what are the emergency works, additional funding, going in that direction. Can we anticipate similarly that there would be a request from central government, or has there been any offering in relation to treating with even some of these challenging circumstances in Tobago, notwithstanding the fact that the initial budgetary allocations and so on would have obviously not taken immediate consideration for these kinds of challenges being faced nationally?
Well, I'm sure that the Secretary of Finance would have made approaches to the Minister of Finance for additional funding. I don't know the status, but going on the history, I don't think that, and given the political scenario that we have, I don't think, although we are hopeful that the government in Trinidad will advance us monies, if you look at what happened during COVID and the monies they received and what was given to Tobago, if you look at the budget allocation for the Ministry of Works and the Division of Infrastructure in Tobago, we've seen that there seems to be no intent to ensure that Tobago receives anything close to the 6.9% that the DRC said that we could receive. And so we'll wait on the chief to pronounce on what those conversations have been. But from where I sit, we in Tobago have to find ways to bring private sector monies into Tobago and to find a way to spread that payment over the longest period possible so we can maximize this $300 million development fund that is allocated to us.
So you're hopeful?
Well, one could always hope in the politics. The Prime Minister is Tobagonian and he loves Tobago. So he may, from his kingly palace decide, listen, let's give Tobago some more money.
All right. The other area, very quickly, we wanted to get some updates on. A release came out through the division in relation to the second tranche payment for relief workers in terms of the cleanup campaign that would have taken place and to be distributed starting in this week, the 11th, the 12th, and today. What's the progress with that in relation to the respective districts identified?
Roxborough district was settled day before yesterday. Scarborough district was settled yesterday. And I believe Moray district will be settled today. And that would bring to an end the payment for the relief workers. It's been a journey for us, I think. I think the staff at accounts have been overwhelmed. We had to type checks with a manual typewriter because several numbers of the employees didn't have bank accounts. And so staff had been working overnight, over weekends to type up these checks, and kudos to them. I'm sure the administrator will find a way to incentivize their work. And so, but we have to understand in Tobago the extent of the budgetary limitation that we have. We have vacancies that we can't think through to fill and find, productive work for them to do all year through. We have to find a way to do some of that. But this was an attempt to say, listen, we had a crisis. There's, a supposedly large unemployment, and we took the opportunity to employ 500 plus people, and we did that, and we will look at it and see what learnings we could come up with and how we could maybe do it again, and if we could, we will do it again.
As an opportunity to continue to assist persons.
With an opportunity to assist the depleted teams that we have, and to create a little employment spur, to make the teams more productive, essentially. And while we look to bring on permanent employees, I think we will continue to do that.
So basically, you're confirming here that there is no truth to the fact, it's been rumored, the release has been put out, people not being paid, people still waiting, going beyond the date, but you're clarifying that's not the case, as far as your information.
That is not the case, and I want to ask Tobagonians to stop listening to fake profiles. I mean, we are in 2023, and we are getting our news from people who can't identify themselves, and we are being cyberbullied, and the police is doing nothing about it. We had to be more mature than trying to create bacchanal by people who can't say who they are. And, I don't listen to that. But what I have presented is the fact that districts of Roxborough and Scarborough were paid yesterday and the day before that. And Moray district will be paid today, and that would bring to an end the payment for the works done just before the Christmas.
All right. As we look to wrap here this morning, give us a sense. What hope would you want to give to the people of Tobago regarding infrastructure needs, which has always been a portfolio, far and wide, in terms of that outreach effort?
Well, I'm a planning person. We have been planning to move the division forward. We have made requests for equipment. And I'm hopeful that we will have the money for those equipment this quarter. Once that happens, people would see the division spread across the island in a way that I've never seen before. But in the meantime, we'll use the resources we have. We have now identified maybe all the areas in Tobago that need help, that need infrastructure bolstering. We have challenges, of course, in the division. We have challenges with the quality of the pothole repairs. We have challenges with spreaders and equipment generally. And we have had a section today, and those issues will be discussed, and hopefully we'll come up with the right solutions, and we will see a more increased performance to a division that's already hyper-performing.
All right, and I got a quick question come in here as well. Show me a road. Tell us about the progress with regards to, I know the last time around, by the time the report started coming in, there was the realization in terms of the volume of staff to be able to support, and then there was some issues in relation to shortage of material at a national level. Where are we at now in relation to the Show Me a Road initiative?
Show Me a Road it's a wonderful app, and we will revitalize it. I think where we fell down is that we didn't anticipate the volume of responses we would have in comparison to the limited equipment that we have. And so with the timeliness of the response was not, and I apologize for that, what we had planned it to be. But it is, you know, we've learned from that. The app is still a wonderful app, and once we are able to acquire the equipment, Show Me a Road will be a benefit to the island, because now, once we have the in-house challenges resolved, our response time to a trauma somewhere will be more timely.
All right. So persons, but it is that persons can continue to submit.
Yes, you can continue to submit.
It's just that the response time, obviously,
yes,
based on the existing
yes,
resources.
Yes.
All right. So viewers, we've heard it there, updates in terms of the upcoming initiatives specific at that to the Tobago and Antigua and that connection in relation to our very own Scarborough redevelopment project. So we are anticipating, because I know last time around, Secretary indicated the timing is short, but still that commitment to ensure that Tobago is able to benefit from and to begin to see the works in relation to the Scarborough development project and a number of the other areas that within our infrastructure here in the Tobago space. We haven't even begun to touch on some of the other areas within the division. All right.
I'll be back, Julian. Anytime I'll be back.
Certainly. Well, we look forward to those continued discussions as the information is brought forward here to be shared with each and every one of you, our viewers and our listeners, continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. We want to thank you so much for the continued love and support, and to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live. And just in the mix there, before you run off, we have coming up Candice Chang, band leader of Stout Next Generation, will be joining us here on the Tobago Updates morning show as we continue the conversation this morning. And so we remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is here. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago.
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much my heart good day. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last, raise a glass.
Socialize!
27th of January, look for where.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We continue to have images there and shots of the main ridge here in Tobago, and certainly appreciating our, our greenery there, as we indicate our flora and fauna. Certainly an opportunity to be very proud of. I'm longing and looking forward to that, heading on in and that tour once again into the main ridge. I haven't done it for a while. Certainly looking forward to that opportunity. The viewers, I also want to make mention, quick image, and I'm asking they to come up on screen there. Today we have a major initiative taking place courtesy the Division of Education, Research and Technology. And they'll be having a celebration of excellence taking place. And this is in an effort to honor our 2022 meritless CXC, CAPE and CSEC students. And this will be courtesy the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Secretary Zarisha Hackett and Assistant Secretary Orlando Kerr, and really taking that time out to ensure that we celebrate and to honor our 2022 meritless CXC, CAPE and CSEC students, a celebration of excellence. And so we certainly look forward to hearing the updates coming out of this initiative today, being hosted by the Division of Education, Research and Technology. And at this point, viewers, we head on over to our interview with Candice Chang, band leader for Stout Next Generation. Morning to you, Candice.
Good morning, Julian. Good morning, Tobago.
All right. And how are you doing this morning?
I'm as well as I can be. I feel a little under the weather, but I'm good.
Because
I'm alive.
I'm now saying I know this is your time of the year. All right. So we want to get started with the aspect in relation to the tribute in particular for those, far and wide, just in case they may not have been familiar with the extensive work and the contribution. Tell us a little bit about this tribute to Gloria Stout.
Well, my mom, Gloria Stout, she would have been in the Carnival fraternity particular mass for over 40 years. She started off as a junior Carnival judge, and she thought that she could have contributed more to the fraternity, so she decided to become a band leader. And from then on, she always pushed through. I don't know how she did it, because even when I took over, many times I was like, I can't do this, I'm done with this. And she was always there. She'd give me that look. Anybody who knows my mother knows that she does cuss bad. So when she started cuss, well, you had to push through and you had to make this happen. And unfortunately for us, we lost her in the period of COVID. And we just were never able to give her the kind of send-off that we knew she would have wanted whenever that time came. We didn't expect it at that time, but we just were never able to celebrate her life and her work and give her the kind of send-off that we wanted. And I believe that now is the opportune time to do so. Even though it's a year has passed, we still believe that this is something that she would have wanted and she would like.
So certainly, and this therefore takes us into the Tobago Junior Carnival 2023. Tell us a little bit about the upcoming launch, and I think it's carded to take place this weekend, tomorrow?
Yes, so we're not gonna, well, we know how things are kind of up in the air with Carnival, February Carnival right now. So we kind of playing it touch and go. But then a lot of persons have been asking and would have been sending questions as to what we're doing. And so we're going to put it out there in the Tobago space that we plan to participate in the February Carnival, because it's not just about participating in Carnival for me or the band. For us, it has some meaning behind it. This is going to be our final send-off for the matriarch of our band. So therefore, we're putting it out there that Stout Next Generation, particularly our junior band, I know I'm placing emphasis on the junior band, and I know that the seniors who play with us would want to kill me right now. So, yes, I'm considering doing a senior band. However, I could say right now that that senior band would be a small band because of the time span that, Carnival was announced and the limited time we have, the limited manpower that I have with the band, I would not be able to do a large band as we customary do. So I had to make some adjustments, and my mother's passion was Kiddies Carnival. So hence the reason why I am focusing on the children.
All right. Tell us, give us an idea. What can we look forward to in terms of some of the designs, the concepts, the sections in relation to this junior band?
I know Mr. Parks has some of the designs. I don't know if there's some way he
Oh,
could put
good.
them
So
up
we
on the
can definitely
screen.
pull up some of those designs. So
Yeah,
you can walk us through them.
I could try my best.
All right.
So basically, this is our section, Come Fly Your Kite. And Come Fly Your Kite is one of the bands that my mother would have started with in her very early years of Carnival. So basically, the idea behind the band, we would have taken things that she would have done in the past and we put a modern spin on it, or we would have taken things that she had a great passion for and we would have modernized it and put it into a costume.
All right. And we continue here on screen. Tell us about
This,
this one, Candice.
this is our African section, and basically, those persons who know Mom very well would know that Africa is one of the bands that she loved the most, and she would frequently bring African bands. And when she started off with African bands, she started off with raffia skirts. So those of you who are familiar with raffia skirts, those feed bags. You would go get those feed bags. We had to go wash them, sanitize them, and then there's a stripping technique that you would do to create those raffia skirts. And then through the years, she would have evolved from that type of mass to, a more sophisticated modern type. So this is the African section. We definitely could not do anything without doing an African section because that was her number one love.
Certainly going back to the roots there. And this one looks a little more festive. Tell us.
Yes, so this is our Clunging Around section. One of the bands that she would have won Band of the Year with in the past would have been the circus. So we tried to take something fun from the circus. It's Kiddies Carnival. The kids would like to have fun, and we thought that the clown would be something very fun and exciting for the children.
This one looks like a national pride. We're seeing the steel
Yes.
band, we're seeing the national colors.
So this is our Pan and Culture section, and she was, I don't know what to say about culture. Anything cultural she loved, she had a passion for, and especially mass. Um, this is just the section that embodies her spirit. Um, so we decided to do it in our national colors and represent the interest groups, Pan Calypso and Mass.
I think this was just certainly about her love for country.
Yes.
Definitely embodied there in that section.
Second to last section, because I'm losing count now, is our waves. So one of the other things that she had a passion for, there are some band leaders, when you see a band on the road, well, for those of us who are into Carnival, when you see a band on the road, without knowing whose band it is, you already have an idea, or you're pretty sure whose band it is, because everybody has a signature. And she loved the sea. The sea is one of those themes that she also loved, and she would have also won Band of the Year with one of those sea themes. So we chose something from the sea for the girls in particular, the wave. So this is a depiction of the wave, and it's all part of the tribute.
Correct. And this is the female in terms of the combination in this area. And we go to the last one, which also looks like a similar reflection, or this one goes more into the well, you tell us, Candice.
This one is supposed to have a crossover between the rainforest and the Buku Reef. Um, so we wanted to integrate the colors of both areas and the concepts and create this costume. What else could I say about it? It goes back to the sea, it goes back to nature, it goes back to Tobago. She loved Tobago so much because my mom originally was not from Trinidad and Tobago. She was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and she moved to Trinidad as a teenager and then moved to Tobago and fell in love with Tobago. Um, and nothing could get her out of Tobago. So we kind of just wanted to do something representative of Tobago.
Would you say, Candice, in terms of this is so important in terms of getting our young persons exposed? It's not just about come and play mass and have fun on the day, but this really creates an opportunity to begin to learn about different aspects of our very own culture and even the representations that the mask is seeking to do. Tell us about that particular experience in terms of engaging, with children and those kiddies and the parents in particular, bringing them to participate in the mass.
I always say that experiencing Carnival is important. All right. And I know a lot of persons would allow their children to experience Carnival. Even Christians, the Christians who indicate that they don't participate in Carnival, some of them would allow their children that experience. And for me, it's about just understanding your culture, understanding what you like, understanding what you don't like. You could take from Carnival the good, or you could take from Carnival the bad. You make Carnival what it is you want it to be. But just knowing about it, understanding it. In the past, we would have had, well, this was before COVID, of course, we would have had schools and primary schools and preschools visiting the mass camp, where we would show them, little aspects of mass, what we do behind the scenes, just to pique that interest. But now with COVID and all of that, all of those things would probably have to take a back burner.
All right. And Candice, I just want you to share with us very quickly. This was certainly an element that many said was missing from the very first Tobago October Carnival. Can we look forward to that representation, from you, certainly to encourage? Or what are your thoughts and your feels in relation to ensuring that come the second edition of the Tobago Carnival, that our children are also catered for as part of the mass?
Well, Julian, I don't know if I would want children to be part of what I see the October Carnival to be. I have my personal feelings about October Carnival, and what it's branded as. I see it particularly as a carnival that is for adults. I don't see how we could include children in that aspect. I see it more as fetting and liming, and I don't know, but I could be wrong, but I don't see the inclusion of children in the October space. I prefer my children to always be well dressed. I always put out a children band that is well dressed, well clothed, and I want my children to be surrounded by a certain type of atmosphere. So unless we could create that atmosphere and include the children, um, I would sort of step back from putting anybody's child, whether it be mine or anybody else's child, in that type of space.
All right, and just before we close this morning, Candice, remind us again in terms of contact information for persons hearing the interview and interested. And I want to say it's not just interested in having your child play mass, but certainly interested in having your child have that experience in relation to our culture. So just remind us again, contact information to get in contact with you and the band in relation to those interested.
Thank you, Julian. So basically, you can follow our Facebook and Instagram pages, Stout Next Generation. On Facebook, I think Instagram is Stout Next Gen Mass. It's bad that I don't remember all of this. But apart from that, you could DM our pages, you could DM me, you can you can WhatsApp 354-5793 for more information. And the pages will be releasing some further details very shortly. By this weekend, the costumes will be up on our pages, and registration information, which will be done remotely, in terms of we'll provide a link, you will complete a form, you will select the costume you want, you'll give us your size, you'll give us everything, so you don't have to visit the mass camp. And all of that would be done within the next week or so, when I know a little more of what's going on between the Tobago festivals and the band leaders, because things seem to be kind of a little unsure in terms of exactly what is happening at the moment.
All right, but you are committed to ensuring that there is at least this element within the Tobago leg.
I am committed because our costumes are already in production. So yes, I am committed to this. As I said, it's a little more than just the band for us. It's a tribute to our mom. So we're definitely committed to this.
And certainly this morning, thank you so much, Candice Chang. And, you know, I've known you for a number of years, and I want to say I know this is certainly a tough interview, but most definitely you are doing exceptional work out there, and really kudos and commendations. As is rightfully just said on the lineup here by Lizzie Harry, great lady Gloria Stout, and I'm certain she's extremely proud of your continued efforts to make things happen. We have seen you grown over the years, and we look forward to your continued contribution within this industry here, within the Tobago space. No pressure, but you certainly got to build on that legacy, most definitely. So congratulations again, Candice, and all the best to the band indeed. So viewers, we've heard it here from Candice Chang, band leader of Stout Next Generation, speaking to Tobago Junior Carnival 2023, a tribute to Gloria Stout. All right, and we want to thank each and every one of you, viewers, for continuing to connect with us here on the Tobago Updates morning show. It's been a beautiful morning. The lineup, being able to hear from Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary for the Division of Health, and the Deputy Chief Secretary, Assemblyman Trevor James, the Secretary for the Division of Infrastructure, and the Candice Chang, band leader, as we speak about the varying aspects. Yes, folks, it's Friday. It is Friday. But we want to remind you certainly to stay tuned and to stay connected with us here at Tobago Updates, because while we are wrapping up here for the Tobago Updates morning show, we will be heading straight on over to GMT. And to give you an indication and a reminder that coming up today, it's going to be happening at the Main Ridge, where we're going to be having that opportunity for the handover that takes place between Minister Penelope and the Chief Secretary, the Honorable Fali Chavez Agustin. And it takes place the Main Ridge Visitor Center Solar Installation. And this is being hosted by the United Nations Development Program, and it takes place today from 10:30. And have no fear, if you're not up there for the event, we will be carrying it live so that you can continue to follow all the updates happening here within Tobago. Again, shout outs to Rhea Richardson George, all right? Keep safe wherever you are out there, and we certainly look forward to having you on Monday. All right, viewers, we thank you so much again for the continued love and support, each and every one of you. Those of you viewing via TV, those of you who are connected with us and listening in on the radio, and in fact, those of you who are already out to work and listening to us on that device, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support, and say bye for now, and stay tuned as we head on over to GMT. Bye-bye, folks.
The International Society of Family Law, or ISFL, is an independent association dedicated to the study, research, and discussion of family law and related disciplines. And fittingly, its annual conference was recently hosted on our beautiful shores of Tobago, a place that's all about family love. The conference brings together researchers, academics, jurists, social workers, policymakers, and other professionals across the world. They share research, experiences, and ideas on human rights that impact us all.
And this conference provides that opportunity for us all. It provides an opportunity for us to even look at how something we never thought possible in our lifetime, such as a global pandemic that forced us to stay at home, how that has impacted our families. In most territories, we have seen an increase in domestic violence. We have seen a rise in conflict in the family. And maybe being forced to stay home made us recognize how much we perhaps didn't love each other. And with all those emotions, we have to find solutions. And we are counting on you in the legal fraternity to be a guiding light to all of us, especially to those within our society who from time to time take up the profession of being bush lawyers. And so we thank you for coming to Tobago and choosing Tobago as the space in which you can convene this conference.
In Trinidad and Tobago, there's been special emphasis placed on families, which are crucial in social development.
When it comes to family law in the Caribbean region, Trinidad and Tobago is one of the jurisdictions leading the charge. Over the years, many progressive pieces of legislation have been introduced with the aim of affording and upholding rights of family members. And institutions such as our trailblazing Family Court, established in 2004, the Children's Authority in 2015, and our Children Court in 2018 were established with a view to championing a more holistic and humane approach to resolving family conflicts and treating with children in conflict with the law. These strides are well in keeping with your conference theme, safeguarding the human rights of family members from womb to the tomb, as they recognize the importance of ensuring that families and family members are at all stages of life sufficiently protected from exploitation, empowered to make the right decisions, and equipped with the tools they need to thrive.
Donna Cox, Minister in the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, says government is committed to supporting families in Trinidad and Tobago. She says the theme for this conference is a timely one.
There is no doubt that the human rights challenges facing family today are more complex than 30 years ago. The challenges experienced by the family causes us to recognize that institutions cannot work in isolation, but must work together to ensure that family members are protected. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services has the lead responsibility for supporting families in Trinidad and Tobago, and we agree that this theme places on center stage the need for comprehensive and inclusive systems of care and support for families on the one hand, and the importance of continued collaboration among stakeholders on the other to protect the rights of all family members.
The conference was held at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Resort. It ran from December 13th to the 16th, 2002. That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates.
Na, 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 na.
Good morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candice Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Political analyst Dr. Bishu Raghunath does not believe Chief Secretary Fali Augustine will respond to Watson Duke's call to rejoin the PDP. Duke recently stated in a radio interview that the door is open for Augustine and others to return to the party. But Dr. Raghunath stated that even though Duke is the owner of the party, he is unable to control it, and therefore reconciliation may be difficult. Following their resignation from the PDP, Augustine and the Executive Council of the THA are functioning as independents, with the possibility of forming a new political party in the near future. In other news, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley assured that there are no restrictions will be imposed on the population, even as COVID-19 cases increase. Addressing the nation yesterday, Dr. Rowley indicated that imposing restrictions at this stage will not work as variants of the virus are already among the population. However, he pleaded with citizens to act responsibly and follow the WHO-approved public health guidelines as much as possible. In the meantime, vaccinations remain available at health centers across the country. And now, LMCS lead attorney Kamini Prasad Maharaj claimed that Paria Fuel Trading Company failed in its responsibility to rescue the divers trapped in a pipeline during her closing statements at the Commission of Inquiry. 4 divers perished after they were sucked into a pipeline in February 2022. Prasad Maharaj said Paria failed to take the proper action to rescue the divers and treat with their families when the incident occurred. Meanwhile, Paria's attorney Gilbert Peterson outlined that Paria did its best, but it was under no obligation to launch a rescue without the necessary safeguards in place. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And now moving from the news and into this morning's discussions, well, viewers, it is Carnival time. And as you heard from Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley yesterday, well, there's nothing that's going to stop Carnival, not even the rise in COVID-19 cases. But of course, everybody has to take their own precautions. And, you know, that idea of having your own personal responsibility becomes very important. Now, getting a little bit into our conversations this morning, well, we know that COVID-19 restrictions are not going to stop Carnival, but will we have masks for Carnival in Tobago? So to give us a different perspective, now we had the chairman of the Tobago Band Leaders Association, Ms. Gemma Bedlow, speaking yesterday. But we're going to be speaking with 2 band leaders this morning. And first of all, we have Ms. Marceline Ned from Marceline Ned and Associates, of course, very well known in our space, along with Ms. Janelle Eastman from Eastman's New Creation. 2 bands that have been annually and, you know, been at it for a very, very long time. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Now, first of all, are you guys preparing for MAS 2023?
Yes, I am. I started last year, so I am been putting things in place for Carnival 2023.
I as well have been doing my stuff and watching to see what's happening because last year has been a challenge.
Yes.
Has been a serious challenge for band leaders in Tobago.
So, I mean, in respect to the call made by the chairman, Ms. Gemma Bedlow, that, you know, if there's a if there isn't a meeting or there isn't any change in terms of the allocation to MAS, would you guys be participating?
Upfrontly, I would not be participating.
No. We all decided that it's a total disrespect. The type of money allocated for MAS, which is nationals, we're not accepting that.
No, I mean, there's been a lot of conversation in the space where that is concerned. I mean, we've seen some of the comments on social media and so on where people are saying, you know, perhaps the band leaders falling into this whole dependency syndrome where they're waiting on the government to give them that money for them to produce the mask. But I want you guys to really set that record straight and give us your perspective. I want you both to contribute to this. So I'm going to start with Miss Ned. What has it been like for you as a band leader, as somebody that's been through this every year?
Well, we don't depend. You cannot wait on the assistance because $5,000 cannot bring a band.
So let's get it straight. So we're getting $1.3 million, but that boils down to like $5,000 per band.
No. What originally takes place, a small band, I'm going with the juniors, would be 5,000. A medium band would be 7,000, and a large band would be, say, about 9,000. That's juniors. That cannot bring a band. The money that you are getting from THA through festival is just to assist you in a little shortcomings that you might fall short on. So it will help boost you. You know when we just get that assistance? About 2 weeks before Carnival, I remember, we received the assistance the same week of the Carnival. So you could have seen some of us scrambling to run Trinidad because we had to get a little braids, That money cannot produce a band. You know how much for a bath suit for a child? It's almost the same price that you are paying for a bath suit for an adult. When you go to Samaru, Jimmy Aboo's and these places to buy fabric, you're not going to tell them, well, I want junior braids or I want junior. No, it's the same price that you are paying for an adult fabric to make the material. It's the same price you are paying to do a child's king queen costume. If you want something elaborate, it costs money. Fiber rods. If you're making a costume for fiber rods, it's money, and then you have to pay the person to help you make the costume. So when people sitting down saying we are depending on the assistance to bring a band, that is not true. Furthermore, you have to launch your band. So you have to start from scratch. You have to start somewhere. All right, look, we had Miss Candice. She's done showing you her sketches, but it have some of us, even though we mightn't sketch, we will make a prototype like myself. I believe in prototype. I don't believe in sketches. So I have to buy the material to start. I have to pay a photographer to take the pictures of the person because people want to see pictures. They don't want to see drawings. You understand? And it is hard to see that. People are saying, oh, we greedy, and why we don't take 1.5 million. Well, let me tell earlier, the budget that we went for the last 2020 was 2016 budget of $2.5 million, and you are bringing us way back, and we didn't even raise the prices because the prices was raised from since 2013 under Miss Tracy Davidson Celestine when she was there. And the prices has not been risen. It end up going down instead of coming back up. And we are saying here what? Feathers, beads, braids, cloth, you name it, price has gone up, and we're just asking for a little more because there are some band leaders go home with nothing.
And what's been your experience, Ms. Eastman, with this, and your take on this perspective that people are throwing out there?
Well, let me give you a little bit of my experience going to Samaru's last year for the October Carnival shopping. When I reached down to Samaru's, because I had to get 96 ostrich feathers for a backpack. And when I reached the Samaru, one feather was $70. One. So you check 96 feathers by $70 a one. And I'm not just talking about the the rest of feathers, like the cork feathers, to accompany the plumes, right? I'm just talking about the plumes alone. That is money, right? Now remember, we're coming out from a pandemic. It has some band leaders not as fortunate as I was, because I already had most of my stuff. But it have band leaders that have to start from scratch without nothing, right? I still was at an advantage where I had most of my stuff and had some feathers that I could have used and substitute some things for the other. What about the band leaders and them that have to start from scratch, right? They are the one that need the assistance to get this thing going now. We want Carnival to grow in Tobago. Everybody's saying they want bigger and better things. Of course, right? Because Trinidad is the mecca of Carnival,
Yes.
right? And we are the sistering island, right? So we have to make the things look good. But we are not getting the support. It is total disrespect. That is all we get in disrespect as band leaders. A week before Carnival, they told us they heard we would not be able, band leaders wouldn't be able to make it to the finish line, so they will help us.
Who is they? Just for clarification.
Our chief sec.
Okay.
Right? That we would not be able to make it to the finish line, so they would give us some assistance, right? So we had a discussion, band leaders had a discussion, tell them where's our plight, and we need money to help us finish some small things here and there, whatever. And we told them the expenses, and we expected to get reasonable help. Right? But we got like $5,000 for pretty mass.
So what would be a reasonable grant or assistance?
Better than what they were offering.
It is better to give us a more reason. We had to balance it off with the expenses that it have right now, especially with bands dealing with feathers, right? It's about the material. We're not asking for the money for ourselves. We're talking about we getting up with the times. Now, when you go by Samaroos and you go by Jimmy Abood, the price for spandex, let's start there, right? The cheapest spandex you could get at Jimmy Abood's is $100 a yard. Anything with print is $195, $180, going up there, a yard, right? Feathers, you're getting like 1 yard by Samaroo. Coke feathers, you're getting 1 yard for $180, right? If you give us, we going shopping and you say you give us $3, we can't buy anything with $3. Right? Even so, if we take money from our own pocket and add up, we still won't be able to get everything we need. By the time we reach back, we still have to substitute, and this is what they're not understanding. You want quality, you have to pay for quality. And the next thing too, for me, I did photo shoots. I have to pay my photographer. I had to pay my models for coming and putting on the costume. And plus, I don't deal with drawings. I do prototypes. I make the actual thing so you can see it and choose, right? When you spend all that money, plus you're launching, you're spending money on launching, right? So you would need DJ, you would need space and all these things, right? When you add up the money and you come down to the nitty-gritty of things, you're not making back anything. So you are spending more, your expenses is more than your profit. And that doesn't make sense, right? So the problem is not that Tobago band leaders are greedy or they want more money for themselves. they don't make anything in general. People, other events planners make more money than mass band leaders, right?
So if there is no consensus going forward, if Monday comes, there's no meeting, there's not going to be a show, pretty much, would there be kiddies?
And let me answer that off the back foot. Yes. I will sit here and say, I'm not coming, but you'll have a few of them will come. Now, I love mass. I born into mass.
Yes.
I am a generation of a generation because I have my kids, my girls and them who assist me also. So if I decide that, yeah, why parking up, I have them there, right? Because this going to be the fourth, going on the fifth generation that come because I have my grandkids that claim. I'm telling you up front. I remember the year when mass was dying in Tobago, and here comes people like myself, and I introduced other people such as Miss Eastman also, because she started with me and then she branched off, and we gave each other the support. You will have few bands, because picture this, junior band is about 42 junior bands. You want to have 42 this year, because some band leaders say they're not bringing no mass, it's too soon, so they're not bringing it at all. So if we have, say, 22 junior bands, you wouldn't get 22 junior bands coming. You'll have, must be about 5 or 6.
And then how would you feel though, now that if that doesn't happen, that you're not able to put out a band, you're not able to participate? I mean, how are you feeling about that?
As much as I love it, and I in it for the love and the passion, and to see that Tobago could still be on the map, because mass has improved in Tobago a lot due to the workshops and all these things that we're having, and band leaders such as myself getting little certificate to show, well, here I went and do a course in Trinidad, not only in Tobago, a course in Trinidad to uplift myself, and it has improved. It will die. It will die. And instead of people figure and saying, oh, we greedy and what we want, and Trinidad had a taste of Carnival, and Trinidad taste of Carnival, they got paid. They had competition. We had none. We had 22 permanent band leaders was willing to take part in October Carnival, and it boiled down was 8 of us. If the 8 of us did pull out now, we would have had nothing. And let me tell you something. October Carnival, Tobago Fest was better than October Carnival. There's no two doubts about it. All the money that they spent and saying that Tobago Carnival was good. You have to be in it to know it. And Tobago Carnival, what they had in October, our normal Tobago Carnival was way better, had more participation of viewers coming to watch and participate in the Tobago Carnival.
Now, as I brought up that point, I mean, I'm not too sure if this is the way going forward, but it seems as though, you know, the authorities are putting the focus on the traditional forms of Carnival, like the calypso, the soca, everything. They're leaving that for that national, the national Carnival time, and then the October Carnival it's a bit of a different feel, it's a more party and atmosphere. How do you feel about that? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, to me, October Carnival was more like it was more like a party hub.
Yes.
Right? Because they promote a lot of boat rides and these sorts of things. It wasn't really about Carnival. They put Carnival in front, but it wasn't really about Carnival. Because Carnival did not benefit anything from what was happening there. Right? Most people who benefited from what was happening there was those people who was planning events like boat rides, parties, and all these things, because all the advertisement that all the band leaders put out, most people spend their money on this show, that party, this boat ride. When they're done, they're telling you, well, we don't have no money to spend on Carnival. We don't want to pay no mass, we money done. Right? Because they promote too much carnival, too much fetes. It was a fet island, a fet hub. It wasn't about carnival. They didn't really promote carnival to the extent where it was the most important thing on the agenda. Right? And that is what lick up a lot of bands. Because people take loans and all these things just to make sure that they put on the production that they wanted to come off.
So,
right?
in that case, had there been a more official competition for mass in the way that it traditionally was held, you know, when you have the national competitions and so on, or the national carnival period? Would that have benefited you, or would that have left you in a better position so that you can put on another mass for February Carnival?
Yes.
That was supposed to be the idea.
If we had, because that was the idea, if we had competitions and appearance fees for people who didn't make it or whatever it is, it would have put band leaders in a better perspective to start Carnival for February, because it would have been like a jump start.
Yes.
Because remember, we came out from the pandemic, 2 years we were done, we didn't work. We didn't get no, and that's the next thing, we didn't get no band leaders. It's a profession. And band leaders was never approached to say, well, they get some kind of compensation for being out of work for 2 years. It's a job. I don't know why it is people thinking that this is a hobby. It's not a hobby. It's a job. It has people who do this for a living. All right? But in Tobago here, is like, it's a hobby. So, pandemic was going on, no assistance, nobody came forward and said, hey, you know, it have band leaders that make mass for a living in Tobago. What about them? Do they need support? We never got that, right? So now, for we to start from scratch now, it's hard for some people to get off the ground.
Now, in light of those points that you highlighted, should we have a carnival at all now?
Yes, we should. It's a national of Trinidad and Tobago.
But in Tobago, Tobago,
let us get this point clear. It's a national Trinidad and Tobago. In order to separate Tobago Carnival from Trinidad, you have to go back to Parliament, because there is an act. And then we are hearing people saying that NCC give. Let me make it abundantly clear. NCC does not give Tobago any money. All allocation for Carnival comes through THA. There is an act there. I can tell you also, I used to work NCBA, and they used to submit Tobago budget to NCC. And it was brought to their attention, no, THA does that, so we cannot assist Tobago with any funding, right? And next thing too, let me tell you something. When you have a passion for something, you will go all the way. Certainly. I do not care who administration, because if people go back in the archives, they will see my face in front. I protest when Mr. Garnet Peters was there. That time the office used to be up at
Glen Road?
No, not Glen Road. Up at Dutch Fort.
Yes.
There are snippets of us, Leacock, myself, Gemma Bedlow, a good bit of us, stand up in front of there making noise. And what do you think was making noise about? Allocation. That is what you was making noise about. Because you cannot tell me you want Tobago to benefit and to put out we all, and you're giving us $2.
Yeah.
I am a person, I just keep receipts. I used to go to the bank. If you go to Netco or whatever, they want their money by Ash Wednesday morning as Carnival done. They want their monies one time. Some of us benefit and some don't. And why it is, I alone must benefit and the other band leader can't benefit. So we add things like we want to add like appearance fee. Trinidad get it, you want us to be like Trinidad. Well, treat us like how Trinidad is being treated in Tobago. Give us an appearance fee for whatever. If we king, queen, bands appear on stage, give us an appearance fee. Hence the reason why the allocation of 3.5 million, all of that is put in place for band leaders. Because here what I said, you have 42 junior bands. The prices is from 1 to 8. So picture that. If I place in Scarborough and I will place in Roxborough again, does that mean to say that out of the 42 bands, they might place, they might not? So they go home with nothing. Senior band is about 22 to 23, the most we ever had, but 32 senior bands at a time. Check how much bands still going home with nothing. You would have 4 large bands, so you know you will have money going back. But from medium to small, take up majority.
Okay. All right. Well, we're getting ready to wrap up our conversation. But Ms. Eastman, I want to give you the last word, just to make your plea to the authorities and to just really drive home why this issue is so important.
We need the assistance for band leaders, and we are not about to take any rubbish from the authorities. Total disrespect to say that you are giving the band leaders and them the least amount of assistance right now. This is the lowest we ever had. This is the lowest we ever had. And that's the thing. People keep telling, I heard a lot of people keep telling me Tobago not having no carnival because they misunderstand that the carnival that was in October was THA. This is national. National mean both islands. Carnival. So this is the one that money is supposed to be spent on. Really. Right? So we need that assistance. We need to get that kind of assistance. Otherwise, we will be spending our days watching the same television to see who coming down the road. And we are very serious this time.
All right. I want to thank you both for being on set with us and just to give us your perspective. Of course, certainly needed, and to sort of set the record straight for the many voices that are out there.
Yes. And we are setting the record that we don't want people to get the inception that Miss Gemma Bedlow Dennis is not getting the support of the band leaders. She's even because people are the inception that is only family, which is true. But this time around, it's not only family will be behind her. Because, as I said, it's a generation and it's family who bring band, and we are staying together this time. We are not departing from it because we're not fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for others. We are fighting for the generation to come, because when we decide we call it quits, you have to have somebody to take up the trend.
Mental, yes.
So, as they are being said that is 9-point-something million, I'm being hearing that the 9-point-something million is not only for Carnival, it's for heritage and jazz, and that could never be. So they need to fix this, because remember, this administration come in and say, let me fix it. So you all needs to fix it. Don't be like the other administration, because the other administration, even though if they gave us a certain quota, sometimes they do come above the level. So they need to fix it.
All right. Well, we hope that we can hear from the authorities soon on this matter. In the meantime, we will thank you both for being on with us. And viewers, don't go anywhere, because we have a lot more coming up for you after the break.
Hey, Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go. It's a brand new
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Socialize is yeah. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. Tobago,
Socialize! Friday, 27th of January, Shore Park Complex.
It's so much my heart could take. Socialize.
Socialize!
Freedom at last. Raise a glass. Boy,
Socialize!
27th of January.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level. The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Well, viewers, now we are in the Carnival season. We're in that whole festive. Yeah, we actually we never really stopped with the festive. But anyways, getting into our next guest, we have Miss Kimmy Potts, who is the PRO of the Signal Hill Alumni Association from Signal Hill Comprehensive School. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, and it's not comprehensive anymore. We are Signal Hill Secondary School.
I keep saying that. I don't know.
That's
I think
fine.
It's still stuck.
We still compre forever, I guess.
Well, yeah, that is for true.
Yes.
Now we're talking about Soca on the Hill, an event coming up pretty soon. So tell me a little bit about it.
So the alumni, we were brainstorming about some events or some activities that we would like to do that could generate some funds for the alumni association and also to help the school itself. And our secretary, Mr. Dion, he was like, we should do Soca on the Hill. And we was like, yeah, we like the name, we like the concept. And I mean, at first we wanted to do a all-inclusive. But then we were like, for the first year, that might be a little bit of a rush. So we decided that this year, to start things off, we're going to give them a cooler vibes.
Yeah.
So a cooler fit, you come with your coolers, you have fun, make it an after work kind of, energy. You come into the space and, you reminisce on your days being at Signal Hill and that kind of stuff. In time, we intend to turn it into a full-blown all-inclusive.
Great. Now, of course, Signal Hill, there's something about those compre vibes that just always there.
Because compre is the light, the beacon on the hill. And when you look at us, we just shine bright. So the vibes will always be there.
Certainly. So what can we expect at this cooler event? Like in terms of, artists, DJs, what do you guys have on the lineup?
Oh, so let me talk about DJs, right? Right now, our DJ cast is a nice mixed blend of past and present students.
Wow.
Well, yes, students, alums. We have a couple past students as DJs, and we have two DJs from that go into the school at this moment on our DJ cast. I don't want to reveal too much now, but in time it will come out. But yes.
Right, and any special artists as well?
We want to keep that a surprise for now. for now.
All right. Well, in my mind, I have a certain past student in mind, but I guess in time we will reveal that.
We will see how it goes.
All right. So, I mean, how can people get tickets? What are the prices?
Okay. So right now we have early bird tickets at $200. I just want to say that tickets are going really quickly, so you really need to contact us because it is very important that you get your tickets now. We have some tickets at the school. You could also contact Miss Moore and Mrs. Carrot Jack. Those two teachers at the school have been literally our biggest cheerleaders thus far. You could also DM us on either Instagram or Facebook pages and contact any of the committee members, the executive committee members, that is.
And of course, this is happening at the school itself.
At the school car park, yes. And I just want to mention that, when we first launched the flyer, I just want to say shout out to class of 85. They have been showing us the most love thus far. I know there are other year groups that have been showing interest, but class of 85 have really been ready and willing to go. Mr. Elvis Rajman, he's also an alum. He's very, very excited about the event. So, tickets, as I say, are going really quickly, and we would need persons to, I believe by next week, the tickets that we have will be sold out.
And of course, the money that you guys are gaining from this hosting this event is going back into the school.
Yes, most definitely. We have a couple of things in the school that needs monetary assistance. The alumni already started working and doing stuff like, the school needed some flags, so we were able to get the Trinidad and Tobago flag, the Signal Hill flag, and also the THA flag. So we were able to do those things before, but now, there are other things that would need a larger sum of money. So this event is really a fundraiser to help the school.
And perhaps it's also a way to help, in building your alumni, because I
definitely.
know you guys have plans coming up for the rest of the year.
Yes, we do. I mean, our next event that we do have coming up is the Star Class Personality Competition. We're calling it the Return. This year, we will be featuring both male and female. I don't think that's something that we ever done at the school. So this year, we're going to be doing that as well.
And you know what is so special about the alumni and that Signal Hill group of people that you all need to come out and support this event?
I mean, Signal Hill is definitely by far the biggest alumni. And I feel like we've been a little disconnected for a while. And we are ready to, just link up, have that bond, be that family again. People you ain't seen in a while. And I want to make something clear because a lot of people have been asking if this is just an event for Signal Lights. And I'm like, no, it's not. It is an event for anybody and everybody who wants to come. Signal Lights, Signal Hill alumni, other people from other different schools, anybody across the board.
Great. All right. Well, so just once again, how can people get in contact with you for tickets? And when is the event?
So our ticket outlets are at the principal's office at the school. And you could also contact Miss Moore or Mrs. Jack. They are also at the school. Then you could contact us via our Facebook and Instagram pages. And you could also contact any committee member. Right now, the tickets are at $200. But as soon as they finish, we're going to raise the price a little. Just a little.
All right, so viewers, Soca on the Hill, especially if you are one of those alumni that are out there, and like Ms. Potts said, there are so many of you all out there. You need to come out and support because, of course, it's all about giving back to your alma mater for that school that raised you. And I mean, there's nothing better than connecting with your old friends.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. And again, it's not just for Signal Lights or Signal Hill alumni. It's for anybody who wants to come and support. Walk with your coolers. No glass bottles allowed, guys. Don't worry about chaser because we will be selling that. We will be selling chaser and ice. So you're safe there. Just come with your alcohol. No glass bottles allowed. Come with your vibes and just have fun and reconnect with the spirit of the Signal Hill alumni.
Yeah, and then one thing that's so special about Compre as well is that, even though you didn't go to Compre, you always have to end up there at some point in your high school career. You always have to end up there for classes or whatever.
Or for sixth form or something, yeah.
There was so many, I'm one of those that went sixth form at Compre.
Right.
So, there's always something that you had to mix in there for. So that's why all of you all are invited to Soca on the Hill.
Definitely, most definitely. We'll see you on the 10th of February.
All right, great. All right, thank you, Ms. Potts, for being on with us. So get connected, get your tickets, come out. And viewers, that's how we're going to have to wrap the show this morning. Thank you for being with us. Have a safe and wonderful day. And before I go, actually, I just want to make mention of this. And that's the everlasting work that's done. It's the 12 Tribes Mission. They're having their show tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. I believe it is. Yes, so just be aware of that. That's happening tomorrow. The 12 Tribes, they're having a special show, so you want to go out and be a part of that as well. But of course, have a safe and wonderful weekend. Stay tuned for the handing over ceremony at the visitor center at the Main Ridge Rainforest coming up at 10:30. So connect with us on that, and we'll see you again on Monday.
We special and there is no denying Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy